and welcome to my digital agenda tutorial. Follow along with the cursor as I explain each part of the digital agenda for specifically parents who might not know how my digital agenda works. Up here at the top left, I've added a feature just for our distance learning, which is an attendance feature. Please click on that daily to let me know that you're attending your history lessons. At the top, it says that we are in Unit 3, American Westward Expansion. That will change when we change to our new unit. Underneath that is our unit big question, the question that we're trying to answer throughout the entire unit. Then the unit big objective, which is our objective for the unit, listing everything that students will be learning and practicing throughout the unit. If you click here, where it says click here for unit standards, it explains at the bottom of the page the different standards that I am using to assess the students' learning. These are state standards. Students are expected to be able to do these history content, Common Core, ELD, Life Skills, and 3C standards by the end of 8th grade. It's a good idea to go and look through those so you know what I'm expecting you to do, to learn, and to practice. For ease, you can click back to the top to go all the way back to the top. On the right-hand side is a link to my Google Hangout. You just click it, open that up, log in with your student email, and it should open up pretty quickly. If it doesn't, you just click this section right here and it will open up. This is where you should ask me questions and where we'll have some class discussions. At this time, I'm not sure if all students have cameras, so we'll just use the chat feature in Google Hangouts. We'll go back to the digital agenda. So if you scroll down, you'll see that we are in a week that's going to last, a lesson that's going to last 2 weeks as opposed to one, because it is our final unit question. That is not always the case. But if you scroll all the way down, you will see each week the question the students will be asked. It's always a big question that takes a lot of reading and discussion to answer, and note-taking, of course. And you can just keep scrolling down. You'll see it goes all the way to the beginning of semester 2. This is set up like a weekly calendar. I want the students to be able to see at a glance what we are doing all week long. I provide the objective for the week, which is in gray. I also provide, at the end of the week, Friday's assessment. We have an assessment where we celebrate our knowledge every Friday. My suggestion is always to read the question, write it down in your notebook, as well as understand the objective. And if you do not understand and have questions about the objective, you may always email or ask questions through, of course, the Google Hangout. Underneath that are all of the readings. Now, students do not have to read every single one of these, although if they'd like to, that's fantastic. But what I would suggest is you at least choose 3 to 4 readings that you will read in depth. If you can only do 3, that's fine. And because this is set up as a week-long assignment, students can do this at their convenience. Underneath that are all the different tasks that I create throughout the week. These tasks are to help students stay on task so that they don't fall behind. The first task would, of course, be setting up your notes, taking notes in your notebook. I do not think students need to take notes online unless they choose to do so. If they would like to share their notes with me, do it online, that's fine, they can do that. And they would need to place those notes or a photograph of their notes if they want to do that in a file, the file that I'll explain in just a little while. The file that I look at. I only look at one file that the student should be typing in, and I'll show you where that is. But let's continue with the tasks. So the next task here on Monday would be, some students might need help breaking down the question. So I have shown a note-taking guide for breaking down the TWIC, which stands for this week's investigation question. It's a quick how-to, and I think that if students follow it, it will help them understand the question if they do not. There are also thinking map templates, which are graphic organizers, and you can print them out if you like and write directly in them, or you can just look at them and do them directly into your notebook. Other tasks might include, and of course these could change depending on the week and depending on what we're doing that week or the question itself. This week, Tuesday's task would be to try to write a claim and explain what historical events and facts convince them to make that claim on the question. So you can see first we start with setting up our notes, then breaking down the question, maybe another template for notes if they'd like. And then the next task is to write a claim. And when we write the claim, it also explains that you should have some sort of facts from your notes to support your claim. As you can see, this is the tasks always go in some form of order. Wednesday is a little bit of an interruption day because I would like the students to work on their websites, specifically on their blog page, but they're also welcome to finish the other steps of the website. I'll add steps as we go, but for now, I'd like them to blog. Lastly is the task where it's write a concluding statement, summarize your main points. This itinerary on Thursday just gives extras. Video, but they are not necessarily things that you need to do. Also on Thursday, I provide the sentence starter link. If you click that, you'll see that I give sentence starters for almost every question I ask the students. Sometimes it helps to look at the sentence starters before you even start, but that is up to you. Some students, they don't like the sentence starters, so they don't have to use them. They think that the sentence starters confuse them, and some students really like them. So it really is up to the student what they want to do. We'll go back to my digital agenda. Lastly, on Friday, I explain what they will do or what is due by Friday. This one's not due till for the 3rd. It is a 2-week assignment. Up here, it tells you what the objective is, which is writing a 3 to 5 paragraph response to the question. And of course, everything listed here in the tasks and exit ticket for Friday, this is everything that would be due on Friday. Extras and updates are just extra things that I think might be helpful throughout the week. You can always look at that. Sometimes I'll add readings of the resources that I've done. Sometimes it's just the YouTube online learning playlist, which means I've downloaded some videos and uploaded some videos that might be helpful just for overall online learning, since this is somewhat new to some students. Not really in my class, but it should, some students might need a little extra help on that. And of course, you can link to the students' websites. Every student has a web address, and you can go and look at what other students are doing, which is pretty fun and helpful. And of course, an extra link to the blogging guide. Remember that tasks are going to change throughout the week. Readings will change. Everything here will change, but the structure will stay the same. There will always be a question for the week, resources for that question, tasks that help you to complete the end of the week task, which is to write a final response to the big question. Since this week since it's set up in a week-long lesson, students can really do this at their pace, which is very helpful, especially for online learning, since you'll have other classes that you need to attend to, as well as other matters maybe that are going on at home. So please feel free to use a digital agenda. It is open 24 hours a day. The Google Hangout, I will keep the Google Hangout up, and I will answer any questions between 8 and 4 o'clock. And of course, sometimes if I'm available, I might still answer your questions even after 4 o'clock. If there are any questions, please email me, go to the Google Hangout, and I hope this was a helpful tutorial. Have a wonderful day.